What we're going to talk about here today, I love this. This is such a cool thing. I'm really excited to share this with different friends that can hopefully pass this word on. A pro bono service for frontline healthcare workers to get counseling. Everybody's handling this whole situation very differently. I'm starting to feel it now in my neighborhood, from friends, from family. People are like, this is getting ridiculous. I need to see some people. I need a human contact. Or like on the completely opposite end of the spectrum, some friends that have been cooped up with their families that are like, okay, enough of you. I can't even imagine what people in your line of work on the front lines are experiencing throughout this. I can't imagine. And so a lot of times I think it's normal for us to regard doctors and frontline people as sometimes invincible. How could they possibly get depressed? They know how to deal with it. But as we've been talking, you know, that's certainly not the case. And so I want you to kind of just dive into that from your perspective, what you've seen and how it is on your end of the spectrum with people that you work with a little bit.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jen. I'm really glad you brought that up because it's something that does need talking about. Absolutely, as you say, all of the human emotions are emerging. You can see people getting frustrated. You can see people getting angry. The one thing I've seen a lot of is misplaced guilt. People feel as though because they're in certain environments, they are putting their families at risk. So a lot of people have taken the steps of moving out or moving into some sort of alternative living arrangement. But it comes with a lot of care and concern about not being able to be there for their families in the way that they normally are. Obviously, huge amounts of care and concern for the patients. And, you know, all of the emotions that I think everyone's experiencing are a little bit heightened in that environment. And I think, you know, everyone's having to ramp up their coping skills to the max. And that idea of trying not to fall into that space, which both you and I have said is quite a challenge, of procrastinating on things.
It's way easier to just be like, I'm going to eat my feelings away.
A lot of people are feeling this way and might benefit, but they just have no idea that these services are available free of charge, and you know, they can tap into them, and it might make all the difference. So
right. So I'm assuming that it is, again, this is an assumption that I'm making. I'm putting this out there because you're giving me this information. It is absolutely meant to be shared. So if someone happens to stumble on this video on my Instagram page, on YouTube, wherever they're seeing this, on Facebook, it is absolutely okay to share this with whatever frontline healthcare workers that you know that might just tell me how. I know you said this was an arm that's come off of a website, which I'm looking at it right now on my iPad. The website that is the main branch is called WiseHer, right? WiseHer.com. Literally the tagline says, "We get you unstuck," which is super cool. You're looking for an expert. The things that they give expert advice on are business, career, funding, IT development, industry-specific, life, marketing, and social media.
So WiseHer has opened up a completely separate arm, as you mentioned, so that they could function as a non-profit down that arm and get this help to as many people as possible. So wonderful effort by them, wonderful effort by their funders, and really fantastic and grateful to you for passing this message to getting it to the end user. So essentially the arm is called frontlinehelp.org. It is
frontlinehelp.org.
Frontlinehelp.org, that's correct. And I know you're going to link that below so that people
absolutely
have a
I only repeated it just because you have this beautiful English accent that all of us in the US are going to be like, what did she just say? What is it called? What? So frontlinehelp.org.
I know. I always say I forget that we're sisters from across the
We
pond.
do not speak like I'm horrible. Like I haven't been on a stage in a while, so my English accent sucks.
I love your accent. I love your accent.
So
And so frontlinehelp.org, and they've got a tag called Coaching for Healthcare Heroes. So I think if you type in https www.coachingforhealthcareheroes.com.
yep, that's what it's coming up on my iPad. Coachingforhealthcareheroes.com. So yeah.
Perfect. So either of those tags will take you through to the particular arm of the website where you can find a whole bunch of coaching experts. And that's the other thing we need to make really, really clear is that this is a very different service offering from traditional, conventional psychotherapy. Help.org, and they've got a tag called Coaching for Healthcare Heroes. So I think if you type in https www.coachingforhealthcareheroes.com.
Yep, that's what it's coming up on my iPad. Coachingforhealthcareheroes.com. So yeah.
Perfect. So either of those tags will take you through to the particular arm of the website where you can find a whole bunch of coaching experts. And that's the other thing we need to make really, really clear is that this is a very different service offering from traditional, conventional psychotherapy.
We will go back to the history of how this got developed into and where that started, the wise her, and how this arm came about. But as you're getting ready to say, this is very, very important. This is a free service for only frontline healthcare workers. Who falls into the frontline healthcare worker service?
So doctors, nursing staff, healthcare assistants, paramedics, phlebotomists, literally anybody who is in the front line dealing with patients that are affected by the COVID pandemic.
Okay, tell me again what this site is not.
Right, so Jen, this is really, really important. If patients, healthcare workers or allied staff are having suicidal ideation, anxiety or depression, or any other symptoms, mental health symptoms that affect their daily function. That could be anything from eating, overeating, undereating, not being able to sleep, oversleeping, having ruminating thoughts, constant guilt, catastrophizing. All of these symptoms are part and parcel of a cluster that requires conventional psychotherapy sessions. So I would say this offering, the coaching offering, is for people who are coping fairly well with their current mechanisms. They're not requiring additional help with coping with day-to-day activities, but do require some additional support in terms of resilience, how to process negative emotions, how to even goal set, paradigm shifting, trying to work out a strategy to get through the next few weeks or months, trying to turn a negative situation into a positive outcome for themselves. So trying to reframe where they are, even trying to process how they will associate with this current pandemic in terms of, what kind of verbiage they use, what kind of language they use, how they want to interpret this, because we know the significance of anything and its effect on you has a lot to do with the way you talk about it to yourself and to others, and the way you think about it and the way you interact with the situation. And so just learning and realizing that you are still in complete control of your response to this and anything else that life throws your way. And you just like a little help, from somebody who has developed a toolkit that they can help you learn in order to be able to get through the next few weeks. So that's the kind of role that coaching serves. And if
and I'm assuming, again, I don't mean to jump in here and assume something wrong. Correct me if this is completely off base. But I know in one of our chats before, you had talked about, when I asked what people can do for healthcare workers, you said, it's so helpful to just listen to healthcare workers right now. I'm assuming that this service, like you're saying, this isn't for people who are feeling some serious depression, going down a bad path, This is for healthcare frontline workers who maybe they have now moved out of their home to protect their family members. Maybe they don't, they finish their long shift. They don't have someone, they don't want to call up their other coworkers because they're working long shifts. They want someone to talk to, even just for a half an hour, to make it seem like it's okay. Would that be a fair assessment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That kind of support that you'd expect of a friend or a colleague, or, but you know, somebody who's been in the profession and knows how to do it from a professional perspective. But absolutely.
They are mostly based in the US and in the UK, right?
I believe they're mostly based in the US, but they now have a couple of UK numbers available. So
Okay.
people can make a phone call that's the equivalent of the cost of a normal landline phone call.
So what I
And
was noticing also on that site was that most of these are phone call based if you're US or UK, right? And so it's a 30-minute call, 60-minute call, can be done on the phone. It's not like you're going to see this person face to face. However, for any of our mutual friends, certainly ones that we've known on in the cruise ship industry, anyone's around the world that are healthcare workers, let's say you're in South Africa, let's say you're in the Philippines, let's say you're in Australia, you can go to this website, you'll see the number, and you can do a Skype or a Zoom call or that kind of platform, and they are taking that. It just, you need to register and know that you're going to be talking with someone either UK based or US based, and it's not going to be a phone call.
absolutely. So they do mention on their website that they have coaches in different countries. So I think they will do their absolute best to
Cool.
match clientele up with the service that they need. And Catherine's really phenomenal. And speaking to her, she's a very, very flexible, adaptable lady, and I think she is very, very resourceful. So I think anyone who's keen should reach out. And even if they're in a country that, you know, they WISE hasn't worked with before or don't have coaches present, I think it's worth reaching out just to see whether there is something that they can arrange. And I'm sure they will absolutely go to the mat to try and meet people's needs.
I'm gonna put all the links in here. Now, tell me just a little bit about how, I'm looking at the web page where I'm looking here right now. And going back to Wise Her, again, like we're saying, this coaching for heroes has come a branch of the web page and the website Wise Her. And you said it was developed by a friend or a colleague of yours. And I want to say that you said that it was that particular site is women coaching for women, correct?
Right. So that's how the site was originally marketed, and it's by a friend called Catherine Rose. She initially worked within a Wall Street firm in one of their sales arms, following which her mum took ill and she needed to make a few life changes. All of this is on her website. So, you know, if you go to meet the team, you see some of the descriptor of what she went through on her own personal journey and how she came about this idea of matching coaches with the people that need the coaching services. And it's really a fascinating personal journey. She's given me full permission to mention a little bit about her story, but you know, this is just a pre-seed version. If you have a look on the website, it really talks to what an incredible, formidable woman this is. And the fact that she's taken this opportunity to offer a free service to the people that need it the most just talks a lot to her integrity and just the vibe of her character. So greatest of respect to her. She's got really important for everyone to be kind to each other in this moment and be really mindful that, you know, people are going through these things. They may not show it, may not be written all over their faces, but a kind word, a kind deed goes a long way. And I have to say, I've noticed so much kindness and people just doing beautiful things that in a lot of ways that there's so much positive that's come out of this.
I love that. I love hearing that. I see that too. I mean, as much as I've seen anxiety levels rise, especially in the last week, and people get, you know, I'm definitely feeling the vibe of people getting a little stir crazy, especially for us here in California. The weather is changing and it's starting to become really beautiful and nice. And people are like, that beach is looking real good. But, you know, I think everybody's getting like, when's it's gonna, when's it gonna get back to normal? And what I think the end of the day, maybe normal is never what we're going to get back to, but we're going to get back to something, and it's going to happen, and it's going to be gradual. But along the way, we all just need patience. We need maybe an ear to listen and great friends. And on the days that we don't keep our shit together, it's okay, because it's okay to lose it every once in a while. Well, as always, it's been such a pleasure. You rock. I'm so glad that we've checked back almost 3 weeks, a month later, and you're healthy and you look great and you're positive and you're bringing us this awesome information. That's like, all of those things are just amazing. So anybody that watches this, please share it. Please also just meditate, send prayers, do whatever it is that you do to people like yourself, and send you good vibes and energy. And I'm sending you good vibes and energy, and have you in my prayers and thoughts. So
oh, Jen, thank you so much. Lots of love to you. I've just got to say, you've been an amazing friend. You've checked in on me really often, and your support has been just invaluable, and I really, really appreciate it. And I can't wait until we maybe get to do our cruise someday, at some point. We've been talking about it for ages, but
maybe
it would be
the next time I step on a stage, it'll be in a hazmat suit, and I'll sing Fleetwood Mac in a hazmat suit. I don't know. We'll roll with it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You are amazing. Thank you for your love and light, and sending this beautiful message to everyone. We appreciate it. We appreciate you sharing your viewership and your network with us. So thank you very, very much.